saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So we'll move on to public comment. This portion of the meeting is specifically set aside for comments from the public, who are asked to limit their comments to 2 minutes. Any person interested in providing public comment should email publicmeetings@rockyhillct.gov, and you will be provided with a link to attend the Zoom remote meeting and instructions on how you will participate. I understand that we do not have anyone in the chat room. However, excuse me, I do have a letter that was sent in to us and was asked to be read into the record this evening, so I will do that. It says, it's to the attention of the town manager, John Mayer. Dear John and council members, we recently lost a man who has given so much of his life in service to the town of Rocky Hill, Mr. Joseph Kohanek. He raised his family in Rocky Hill and embraced the entire community as if it also were his family. His continued dedication to the town, we feel, should be memorialized. His unwavering support of the new community senior center is in part why our dream is coming to fruition. We would like to appeal to you and the council to consider naming the new center in his honor. We have honored Barbara Sawillo, Richard Tulisano, and others. Mr. Kohanek truly deserves this honor bestowed upon him and join these other dedicated servants of Rocky Hill. Joseph Kohanek, Community/Senior Center. We hope that you will consider this request and honor this fine man. Please read this into the minutes for the meeting. Sincerely, Mr. and Mrs. Bruno and Linda Cerati of 8 Lexington Court. There is a second letter that is attached to your packet. It is seemingly anonymous though, so I'm not going to read it into the record, but there is a letter if you wish to review it that was brought to the attention of the town manager. Okay, so moving on to appointments and resignations. Councilor Duff, do you have any appointments or resignations tonight?
We do, yes. We're offering Marnie Liska as an alternate to the Open Space and Inland Wetlands Conservation Commission.
Okay. Is someone coming off, or you're just having it?
It was an open spot.
It was an open spot. Okay, thank you, sir. And Deputy Mayor Sharma, do you have any appointments or resignations?
Sure, we have a request for change at Planning and Zoning, where the full member Thomas Royval will step down to alternate, and stepping up to full regular member will be Guy Drapo. That's for Planning and Zoning. And did you want to make the other appointment?
We do have an opening on the Greater Hartford Transit District. So we received information from the executive director that Rocky Hill has one appointment to that board of directors, and it actually expired, I want to say it was March of 2019, so they haven't had anyone there for a while, and they were looking to have someone appointed. The person who previously held the position was Ken Goldberg, and prior to that was Miss May Casasanta. And so I will be making an appointment of Mr. Dimple Desai to serve on this particular board of directors, and I believe it is a 3-year appointment. So since some months have expired already, that will still those months will still be included in his 3 years. So I want to say it expires in 2023.
Yeah, March of 2023.
Thank you. So thank you to everyone who's volunteering to serve, and we certainly appreciate your time. Moving on to approval of the minutes, Town Council meeting November 16th, 2020, again in your packet. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes from November 16th.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's go down to subcommittee reports, beginning with finance.
The Finance Committee has not met since the last council meeting. Our next meeting is the 17th at 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Government operations.
Government Operations Subcommittee met earlier this evening and have a handful of updates to provide. Phil Sear from as Facility Director gave us updates on a number of projects going on. The most noteworthy of which is probably the generator Fire Station 3. It's in a state of disrepair. They're trying to get it repaired, but it is 40 years old. They're trying to fix it and try to get us to the next budget year possible. If not, we have to rent a generator, which is costing over $3,000 a month to do so. It was originally in his plan to replace in like the 24-25 budget year, but that's obviously going to have to get moved up at a minimum to the next fiscal year, if not maybe to this fiscal year. We're going to have to see what the costs are. He's getting estimates from engineering as to a replacement cost would be. We may also move to a natural gas type of fuel for the generator, which we think would run more efficiently and more cleanly. So he's getting different estimates on the different options there, and will get back to us. At $3,000 a month, we want to try to avoid paying that as well as possible if we're going to have to replace a generator eventually anyway. So we're going to hopefully quickly come to a conclusion which way to go and make the best decision at that point. Aside from that, we did receive $189,000 from the state toward the Stevens School roof replacement, and which is the vast majority of the amount we expect to receive. The remaining amount is being held back, probably pending the final audit of the project. Also, with regards to the high school, their Board of Education and the football boosters have each contributed $15,000 toward a project to install electronic sign at the high school on Chapin. And that is scheduled to go in front of planning and zoning. I think next week is the next meeting. So I think it's scheduled to go in front of that committee then for approval, and go from there. Let's see, the last thing is we received a laundry list of updates on this project for the Community Senior Center, and just received these today. So I'll just read them real quickly for you so it's in the record. So select thermal painting of the structural steel continues. Roofing installation continues in the flat areas as the high areas are ready for final detailing. Storm structure installation has been completed, with the bypass of the old system also completed. Soil preparation and compaction continues for paved areas along with surface drain structure installation. The remainder of additional slab has been poured. The slab infills in the existing building are nearing completion, with a few select areas remaining. The temporary heaters with associated ductwork has been installed and approved for operation. Select ductwork for the addition has been delivered to the site. Framing of exterior walls is nearly complete, along with temporary weather protection in openings. Exterior sheathing is nearing completed, along with the sealing of joints and penetrations. Masonry work has commenced following the sheathing installation. Interior framing has commenced. Plumbing carries and in-wall rough has commenced in the addition. Electrical wall rough continues, along with preparation in the existing electrical closet. Plumbing trench work in existing building is ongoing with the 4-inch sanitary main. And finally, abatement in the existing gym area has been completed. So obviously a lot going on there. Seems like things are moving along pretty nicely. And lastly, our next meeting for government operations is scheduled for Monday, December 4th.
Okay, thank you. Public safety, do you have a report?
We have not met since the last meeting, and our next regularly scheduled meeting is still December 21st at 5:30 PM.
Okay. Senior liaison,
Our November meeting was canceled. Our next meeting is December 28th at 5 p.m.
okay. How about land acquisition and farmland preservation?
We have not met since the last meeting, and our next regularly scheduled meeting is December 21st at 6:15.
How about liaison to the state rep and the state senator?
We did receive a communique from Representative Wood, Carrie Wood, and she is available to swing by our last meeting of the year, December 21st, maybe to update on the coming legislative agendas. And we extended an invitation to both the state rep and the senator to come to that meeting.
Perfect. Thank you. School liaison, do you have a report?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I do not have a report at this time. The committee did not meet. However, I would like to inform you that invitation was extended to Mr. Brian Dillon, who is the chairman of the Board of Ed. As you know, a lot is going on there. But due to a prior engagement, he was not able to attend this time around. But we are trying to get him to attend our 21st meeting. And still, I will. That still has to be decided. Brian has to get back to us. So I'll keep you posted on that. And if you can get him on the 21st, we'll hear directly from the chairman of the Board of Ed.
Okay, thank you. How about capital improvement committee?
The Capital Improvement Committee is a new committee. We met for the first time on October 29th. It's a joint committee with the Town Council and the Board of Education, where we talk about capital projects, and we're going to meet once a quarter. In our meeting packet is the schedule for the next 4 meetings. All meetings will be 5 p.m. unless otherwise noted. The first meeting is January 26th, April 27th, July 27th, and October 26th.
Okay, thank you. And then finally, the economic development subcommittee.
We have not met, and there's no meeting scheduled at this time.
Okay, thank you so much. There is nothing on our consent agenda, so we are zooming tonight. Down to old business, discussion, possible action on the community and senior center.
So could I just one point of clarification? I apologize for interrupting. Alan, in the packet where he has the Capital Improvement Committee meeting dates, it does say that they're all going to be held in the council chambers at 5. Are we going to do that?
I'm sure that will evolve as the COVID situation evolves as well.
Okay. Thanks.
Jeff took care of the update at the Community Senior Center in his government ops report, so I have nothing more to add.
Okay, thank you. And then we'll move on to new business discussion, municipal and waste collection unit-based pricing, also called UBP. So the town manager put something in our packet. John, I don't know if you want to speak to that briefly.
I put in a handout. I'm not sure what committee might have put it out at the relating to unit-based pricing as a way of, I guess, controlling cost, waste, disposal at the town level as a way to get people to be more conscious of the trash they're throwing away. And perhaps if they're more conscious, it might reduce the cost associated with that disposal. So there was 2 pages associated with that. And then I put together a summary of the town's removal costs associated with refuge and recycling, and then our refuge disposal costs associated with the tonnage, as well as the amount that the town pays per ton it disposes of. And then the costs associated of disposing of recyclable items that are collected at the transfer station. So generally, if you take a look at it, you see it go up slightly, which is probably based on a CPI index increase and so on. The one area that really jumps up a lot is our disposal costs per ton. That's really gone up from $62 to almost $91 over the last 5 years. A large increase that way there. Seems like our transfer station, the recycling, stays pretty level. We do have a few, I didn't look at it from a revenue side, but a few of the items that we do bring that collect for recycling, we do get paid for by the recyclers and so on. So generally, you're seeing the town's expenses going up between 4 to 6% over the last couple of years, and so on. So it just seems like the driving force that they'll be increasing our sanitation budget costs, basically the disposal costs. I included in the packet the letter that I received a month or two ago from MERA, discussing how the funding that they requested to try to repair their disposal station was basically rejected by the state. I believe it was like in the $150 million range. And they're coming up with some ideas of trying to separate the disposal stream, the waste stream even further by trying to separation associated with food waste. And I believe there's companies out there that will take that food waste away and use it for an alternative energy source. So that's pretty much it from what I have at the moment.
So this is all part of that coalition that Mimi and I have been attending meetings at. So it is the Connecticut Coalition of Sustainable Municipal Management. Not every town has been participating, but a really big chunk of towns, municipalities in Connecticut have been attending these workshops. And there are 4 working groups. Mimi and I belong to unit-based pricing. So we have learned so much more than we probably ever wanted to know about recycling and organic food scraps and co-collection and the need to reduce what we're putting in our trash bins, basically. But we thought it was important to start the discussions now because we only have 2 meetings left, and the town manager is going to join us on those last 2 meetings because we're going to see the final menu of options that all of the groups are recommending. And then our final meeting, we will meet and sort of discuss as all of the member municipalities, what is it that we want the commissioner to bring forward to the legislators in January. We get the sense that there's likely to be, or not maybe likely, but possibly there may be some mandates associated with this, because in order to really have an effective policy, you have to make sure that everyone buys into it. And these are not cheap or easy answers, but it is something that is important to consider, particularly for long-range planning, not just for the environment, but for what's going to be cost effective for our town. So I don't know, Mimi, if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think I agree with what you said. And I think at some point, we're going to be mandated to do something because the state and the towns cannot sustain the increase in cost, and there's nowhere to put the waste. So I think it behooves us to be looking at the options and perhaps be more proactive than reactive. Obviously, we have to get all the information, and to get people to buy into it, we have to make sure they're educated. Just a question, in the Mira letter, it said that Kristen Brown was going to contact us. Have we been contacted?
Yes, so it's funny because I actually reached out to Krista back in March, Kristen, and then just, with the pandemic, nothing seemed to work out, but she likes to meet first with the town manager and the mayor for whatever reason, just to have a preliminary conversation about having a greater conversation with the council. So John and I have set that up. I want to say it's actually maybe next Monday, because in the letter it says they have this demonstration project. It seems like this might be the pilot project they were talking about, but I'm not exactly sure. So we'll figure that out, and then hopefully we can have, it looks like Mira and Kristen's unit-based pricing, which they also call SMART, have gotten together to offer some trial runs of what we're going to see in the future.
Because I think it behooves us to listen to what they have to say. Obviously, there's a lot of questions, so I would be interested in hearing their proposal once you and John hear the proposal.
Okay. And I don't know that we'll actually hear the full proposal. I think she just wants to make sure that
Touch base.
and she's not wasting her time. Like there's actually, like, we would actually consider something like this. So, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
I think it's just important that people know, or the public know, the information that John summed up, because this is, if this is a direction that we go in, and we don't know because we haven't seen all the options yet, but it's going to be a behavioral change for people. It might be different going with this bag approach, and it's not just the environmental concern is a piece of it, but when we look at in fiscal year ending June 2016, our disposal costs with Mira was $62 a ton, and over the last 5 years, it's gone up to $91 a ton. And I'm pretty sure the last time Mira was in here, they saw within the next 5 or so years going up, what, 120s almost. And the amount that this involves are more or less the same disposal rate for our town. It's going up. It's gone up over a tenth of a mil. We're looking at $200,000 the last 5 years. It might jump up again, and this might be something, right? If the projection holds for the upcoming year, I mean, 1.4, almost $1.5 million just in, in waste disposal, and we might not even be, 2/3 of the way to where that number is going to wind up. And we think about the things that we want to fund, like roads or just keeping people's taxes low, like this is a potential area of savings where you could do that without impacting the overall budget. So some of the numbers that they are suggesting in their letter of decreasing the usage rate by 40% could be a tremendous savings for the town. So if this is a direction that we do go in, hopefully people understand that that's why we should participate in a program like this, because it actually gives us more control over than having to rely on Mira just bringing us a new price every year for whatever it costs to dispose of the waste. So it could be, this isn't the most exciting project, but it could be a pretty substantial savings for the town if it's something that we do wind up moving forward with.
Yeah, I think one of the things that in the last session that the mayor and I went to, education is critical, that people understand what we're doing and why, or what we're proposing and why, and that we have, we all know what the forms and everything, that we have a lot of different misinformation out there, that probably the manager or the mayor, we have a set of information, and that the public gets the correct information and understands what there's to do and so forth. Otherwise, I don't see it working, frankly.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to look at how other towns have implemented it and where it's worked out well and where it hasn't, and try to learn from their mistakes. And certainly, we're not the only folks trying to solve this problem.
Okay, great. Anyone else? All right. Let's move on then to new business B, set public hearing for sale of 65 Walnut Road.
You remember a few years ago, there was a deadly fire at 65 Walnut Road. And basically the owners were killed in the fire, and there was no one to take over the property. So over time, the town on the burnt building for public safety reasons and so on, and ended up acquiring at the tax sale. We did go out for a RFP, and we did have one successful bidder submitted back in a little less than about a year ago. And we wanted to try to close on the deal in April, but there was, he couldn't get title insurance until probably a year after the tax sale. So recently been contacted by the purchaser that he did get title company and is interested in acquiring the property. Part of the process that the town has to go through is to have a public hearing about the sale of 65 Walnut, which is about a quarter acre of land, pretty much leveled. It's just probably the driveway is the only thing left there. So what I'm just requesting is that we set a public hearing at the next town council meeting on December 21st at 7 p.m. And after the public hearing, most likely, before that, the finance committee is going to be meeting on the 17th, and they'll be reviewing the purchase and sales agreement that's been drafted by the town attorney. And hopefully the finance committee will see fit that it's wise for the town to sell this property to a developer that would hopefully put on a house and get that piece of property back on the tax rolls. We'll have the public hearing on the 21st at 7, and part of the agenda in the agenda will be a new business authorization to sell the 65 Walnut. So that long-winded discussion is all just requesting is we set a public hearing for December 21st at 7 p.m. to discuss the sale of 65 Walnut Road.
Okay.
John, just a clarification. Doesn't a public hearing have to be a separate meeting from the council meeting? Or are we just going to push back the council meeting to 7:30?
We thought we could incorporate the public hearing as part of the council meeting as an agenda item.
John, would we, I mean, I don't know what the agenda would look like for farmland, but maybe we could finish up 10 minutes early and have the public hearing start. You know, give the public, you know, at 6:45 or 6:50. No, it's just
okay. Well, we could the public hearing at 7, and then if it goes too long, then I'd be surprised, and then just close the public hearing and then open up the town council meeting at 7:00 something, hopefully.
Do we need a motion?
So Jen, do you want us to actually do a motion to set your public hearing date?
It's because we have to advertise. So, why don't we just have public hearing on December 21st at 7, and then after that, then close that out, and then we'll open up the town council meeting a little after 7.
Okay. Okay, and so my question is, do we need a motion to do this, John?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. So may I have a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to set the public hearing for the sale of 65 Walnut Street for December 21st at 7 PM and moving the council meeting to 7:15 PM on the same evening.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Okay, let's go down to the mayor's report. I just want to give you a brief COVID update, but actually super updated because the governor was on earlier this afternoon. And he said that he is looking forward to the receipt of the vaccine shortly, which will be provided first to frontline health care workers and thereafter to nursing homes, which in nursing homes means residents and all staffing. And plans are underway to vaccinate others and ultimately the public. So he said he's going to continue to work with his alliance when it comes to implementing restrictions, if and when that becomes necessary. So he said that it will depend what the numbers are in terms of hospitalizations and ICU numbers over the next several days. We learned that, the virus is believed to thrive in the cold winter months. So, everyone is reiterating the need to practice your 3 Ws, which are wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Those are common sense approaches that we know are going to help get us through the winter. And as the governor said, help is on the way. But we want to remind everyone that we have to keep doing what we're doing to keep our community safe, right? And we often focus on keeping our first responders and our healthcare workers and, frontline people, our vulnerable population. But it's also important that we're cognizant of our businesses and especially our restaurants, because these folks really need to stay open as much as they can to get through the winter and to survive the winter. So if we can really do our part and think beyond ourselves and continue with our mitigation strategies, perhaps we can stay open a little bit longer. And so everyone is able to do okay. Let me tell you very briefly Rocky Hill numbers, which were updated yesterday. Total cases since the beginning of the pandemic, 775. That includes confirmed and probable cases. Total deaths, 98. Again, that number is confirmed and probable. And the number of people tested in Rocky Hill, 7,375. And I checked the maps, and that, the total number of cases is pretty similar to what we're seeing in surrounding towns, particularly Wethersfield and Glastonbury. It is a little bit higher than Cromwell, but it's a little bit lower than some of the other surrounding towns. So I don't think it's, it's not unusual. It's just something that we have to pay attention to. So please wear your mask. At the state level, as I believe Deputy Mayor Sharmat mentioned, we have our lawmakers coming on the 21st. And it's that time of the year where I kind of want to remind you all to pay attention to what's going on up at the Capitol and the proposals, because these guys are going to go back into session in January. And there are a lot of things on the table that potentially will impact our municipality. So I've joined a bunch of committees and groups to kind of stay on top of that. One of the ones that both Mimi and I belong to, we just talked about. So we just really want to have a seat at the table and hopefully contribute to that conversation. But some of the things we will be seeing, we think they're going to be revisiting police accountability. Again, sustainable waste management, where we will possibly see some mandates. And then state control of local zoning, where I would say, because there is significant momentum in this area, we most likely will see some mandates in that area. So we can certainly speak to legislators and let them know kind of what our feelings are on the 21st. Improving communications, has always been important for this administration. So I want to give you an update on one of the things that we've been working on, and I think it sort of dovetails nicely with the public health and safety issues as we are looking into a townwide email system. So we're trying to explore the best way to roll out email communication with you, the residents, and with local businesses. So if there is an urgency or information that needs to get out, and not necessarily, a reverse 911 emergency, but just important information, we want to have a platform where we can connect with you. So we're hoping that, we can do this soon. It's something, again, that we are exploring, and it would be a system that you can opt into and you can opt out of. If you don't want to get the emails, you don't have to, but we're kind of hoping that you do. So we have another means of easy communication. And then finally, this month, the town is hosting our Gingerbread House Challenge. So, this is a free event. It's open to every resident and business in Rocky Hill. There are lots of categories, and so there are lots of ways that you can win. And we thought that this would be a good idea during this really kind of uncertain, crazy time to do something fun for the residents and really for all of us in lieu of the mayor's charity ball, which we typically do every year. It's a nice little competition for baking and decorating, or simply assembling if you're going to buy a kit. And what's nice about this challenge is that there are so many different ways you can win, and the winners will receive gift cards to a local business of their choice. So, it's a really good way to support our local businesses as well as have some fun. So if you want to learn some more about that, you can visit our website, www.rockyhillct.gov. You can go on our social media platforms and you'll be able to get the flyer and download the registration form. And again, it's completely free. The drop-off dates of your houses will be on the 17th and 18th at the library. I'm not sure if we will actually be able to have a public viewing. That will be, contingent upon our COVID-19 restrictions, but IT John and I are looking into a way that perhaps we can do a live showing of the displays and of the judging. And judging will be on 12/21. So that's exciting. And let's see. So that we have this new Mayor Spotlight thing on Public Access TV, and on episode 3, to sort of talk about, all things Gingerbread House, we interviewed a local celebrity by the name of Andrew Gernhard, and Mr. Gernhard actually happens to be the producer of Hallmark movies. So he talked about his career. He also produces movies for Lifetime, and he produced Hallmark's latest movie, which is called One Royal Holiday. So if you go on to episode 3, you can see it on YouTube or our website. You'll actually see photos of behind the scenes filming of that movie, which was really cool. And they happen to have like this magnificent gingerbread house in there. And then finally, our town departments will be carrying out the gingerbread theme throughout December. So Human, Youth, and Senior Services have a variety of craft projects for seniors to pick up and then bring back to help decorate the library. They will also provide gingerbread kits for families who may be in need of them and wish to participate. And I know that our Parks and Rec department is going to give out some kits for folks who go to the first movie at their drive-in movie. And I want to say there will be two movies shown on this particular date, which I don't have at the moment, but you can see that on our website. So that's basically it. That is the end of my report, and we will now move to the town manager's report.
I thought you might give a review on a Hallmark movie. Thank you. Yep, the town hall is still only open for, by appointment only. So technically, we're closed to easy access, but we're still open business, but on an appointment basis. People would call, set up an appointment, and then when they would arrive, come to the front by the fountain door, call that person at the meeting with, they'll come down. We do have a sign-in book, the sign-in, sign-out book to track people that are coming and going from the town hall. We're coming up to the holidays, so those people that want to make appointments in the town hall, December 24th is a half a day. So the town hall will be closing at 12, and will be closed on the 25th of December. And then on the 31st, it's another half day, closes at 12, and the town hall will be closed January 1st, 2021. Been getting a few letters and emails relating to naming facilities after people. And the town council back in 2004 did put in a process of a formal process on how to go about naming a building or a town property after somebody. It's in the town code under chapter 36, and there is a form that needs to be filled out. It's a little one-pager that is submitted by a person or an organization, what that building or facility or property that want to be named after a certain person. That form is turned to the town manager. The town manager will accumulate them and then turn them over to the mayor. And at that point, the mayor will form a name committee. I think about 4 or 6 people. And that naming committee will review any of the requests and so on. And then if they do agree upon naming something, building after someone, and approve it, then it will be brought to the town council. The town council discuss and vote on it. And the thing is, they need to have 6 affirmative votes in order to name the building. So if there is interest in naming something after somebody, there is a process to go through and start with getting a form, the town manager, and that will begin the process to go from there all the way through to the town council. The Silas Deane streetscape update is it's getting into winter mode where they start shutting down work between December 1st and December 31st. Pretty much right now they're doing safety work and so on. But the contractor did ask to continue working through that winter period. And the town has agreed to it based on, of course, weather conditions. We're just waiting for approval from DOT. As of the beginning of December, about 67% of the electrical conduit has been completed on the east side of the road compared to 33% on the west side. 92% of the light basins have been inputted on the east side, and on the west side, only 6 remain. About 50% of the sidewalks are done, with 30% of those sidewalks having the brick edge. So you have the concrete down the middle, and then on the sides, they'll have a brick support. Other than that, I think they're just stabilizing it, topsoil, as well as some mulch work to stabilize the landscaping during the winter months if they do shut down for 3 months. Like the week of Thanksgiving, our assessor's department mailed out a form to residents that might have acquired or put on solar panels on their houses. It was an informational data gathering exercise to try to get the assessment records up to date. Basically, if the person or the homeowner owns the solar panels, purchase them outright, they're entitled to a tax exemption. And that's part of the reason of getting that form in, so that they would receive that exemption. If the taxpayer is leasing, the resident is leasing the solar panels from a third party, currently it's in debate in the court system whether that third party owes property taxes to the town, or whether it's a tax-free transaction. And currently it's in the courts right now, or it could be straightened out by the legislature by clarifying the legislation associated with solar panel taxation. Due to the snowstorm this past weekend, the two movies that the Parks Department was planning to have on Saturday got moved to December 12th at 4:30 Elf, and then at 7:30 will be Christmas Vacation. That will be held at the high school parking lot. And last, relating to the Greater Hartford Transit District, when I was talking to their executive director, you were asking about what they do with their buses that get turned in after towns get finished with them, or towns get new buses through grants. And they generally say they auction them off. As you remember seeing, the town had about 5 of these mini buses over the recently. 2 of them were determined not to be roadworthy or worth fixing up. So we did contact Greater Hartford Transit District about some of their buses that they were going to auction off, and they said they'd be willing to sell one to the town, in which we could use it for, the Board of Ed could use it to take special needs children to their job programs and so on. And they would be handled by the teachers associated with that program. So we were able to acquire a minibus from the transit district. We picked it up today for only $2,500. And generally those buses go brand new in the $60,000 range. So that bus has been up at the garage and looked over. And again, it'll be hopefully used by the Board of Education associated with transporting their special needs kids to their work programs. That's it.
Yeah, I'd gotten some feedback on the note that the assessor sent out, and I think it's I think we understand, why they were sent out, but just as we think about the way of rolling out programs like this, I got some negative feedback from folks in town. The way that the letter was sent out, giving people basically 2 weeks to respond. I know there's also a 30-day grace period, but the cover letter didn't have a complete phone number. There wasn't any electronic contact, like an email address. I heard from some folks who had already gone to Florida for the winter. They didn't know how to respond, and thank you for helping with get the electronic copy. There's an ask to have some information that I would think the town would have on file in terms of, when the permits were done for the project, such as the number of panels, where they are, the kilowatts installed, or the kilowatts that they generate. There's some questions about the value of the system, but doesn't notice if it's at the current value or the purchase value, if the depreciation is a factor. And way down at the bottom, it also asks for a copy of the lease purchase power agreement or the purchase agreement. You know, I have panels, and I have a 25, I just actually looked it up, and the agreement's 25 pages. You know, it'd be very easy to send the town a PDF for that. It would not be easy to print out the 25 pages and then jam it in the tiny envelope that got sent to us. So it was not particularly user friendly. I know we're also trying to cut down costs on, you know, for the town side, but the feedback that I got from people, especially with systems for a while, was that it might be challenging to find some of this information. And so there was a question of, you know, particularly for the information that's already should be on file with the project. You know, there's some questions about, you know, why were they basically asked to tell the town information the town should already have on file. So, you know, I think maybe I understand the need to try to collect what is owed to the town, but if we could try to make that a little bit more user friendly for folks, especially this time of year, that would be, I think, go a long way in getting a better response.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? All right. Wow. So is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Night.
Oh my God, what did I do?